All right, it's 7 o'clock. Hopefully, you all can hear me. Hello, Miss Valerie, Miss Bestie, and Miss Stacy. How are you all today? I hope you're ready to go over some stufficus. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, y'all ever just have a week where everything happened this week? It's been a good week, lots of going on, but I feel like I haven't had any chance to do any work, but that's good. I moved here for family and stufficus. Yes, stufficus. Lots of stufficus happening. I mean, in my defense, The Odyssey was a 3 hour movie, so that took up a lot of time right there. But let's get right into it with question number 31. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh, bava. Oh, back to page 11. There we go. Look at that little button. That was nifty. So, a landlord advertises a 2 bedroom apartment as ideal for a young professional couple. No children, please. A family with 2 kids applies and is denied based on this stated preference. What has the landlord violated? Common decency? I'm going to go with that answer, but not an answer choice. A, the Americans with Disabilities Act, since children are considered a protected class under it. B, nothing, since the advertisement described a personal preference rather than a formal denial. C, the Fair Housing Act's prohibition on discrimination based on familial status. Or D, nothing, since landlords may set reasonable occupancy limits based on bedroom count. So it's not D. We know it's not D. He did do something wrong. And both of you all are telling me the answer is C. And yes, C is our right answer. Is it too early for the song? Is it too early for the song? Now I know you gave me a cookie, but I just feel like
I like carrots, and you should too. It goes crunch, 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 and it's good for you.
we like carrots.
And you should too. It goes
Crunch, crunch, crunch. Never too early for the carrot song, right? Never too early. All right, let's try number 32. A borrower defaults on a loan secured by a deed of trust that includes a power of sale clause. Compared to a state that uses traditional mortgages with judicial foreclosure, what is the key practical difference for the lender here? So we know that it was secured by a deed of trust and there's a power of sale clause. And then it says compared to a state that uses traditional mortgage, which is a judicial foreclosure, right? So we know we have here a title theory state versus a lien theory state. What's the key practical difference for the lender here? Is it A, the deed of trust eliminates the lender's rights to pursue a deficiency judgment? B, the borrower automatically retains ownership until a separate eviction lawsuit is filed and won? C, the lender must still obtain a court order before any foreclosure sale can occur? Or D, the lender, through a trustee, can typically foreclose non-judicially without going through court, making the process faster? So what's the difference if they use a deed of trust versus if they went with a lien theory? Now, Ms. Valerie, you said C, the lender must still obtain a court order before any foreclosure sale can happen. And that's not true on a title theory state. That's not true in a title theory state because we're using this deed of trust. And remember that deed of trust is for title theory states for non-judicial foreclosures. Your lien theory is going to be this judicial foreclosure, and our title theory is the non-judicial foreclosure. So compared to a state that uses, so it's kind of backwards. Oh, you didn't answer yet. Oh, you gave me the C for the carrot. I thought you were saying the answer was C for carrot. I got you. No, no, no. I apologize then. Nope. The answer is D. The lender through a trustee can typically foreclose non-judicially. Yeah, you got it, D. There you go. Sorry, I thought that carrot.
No, that's okay. I live in Georgia. They do title theory.
See, there you go. There you go.
They're cold out here.
Hey, hey. Have you ever heard that song? If you've never heard it, it's cold in the deep.
Cold as ice.
It's Well, that song, but if you ever look up It's Cold in the D, talking about how cold it is in Detroit,
I
you
did.
will
I
get,
have.
oh, yeah, girl. My peoples were a mess. Okay, number 33. An appraiser is valuing a large lot currently used as a single family home in a rapidly commercializing area now zoned for mixed use development, where similar lots are being redeveloped into retail space at much higher values. Under the principle of highest and best use, how should the appraiser primarily value the site? So it's currently used as a single family home, and it's in a rapidly commercializing area now zoned for mixed use development, where similar lots are being redeveloped into retail space at much higher values. Oof. So it's currently a single family home, and I guess it's saying now it's mixed use, and the retail seems to be going higher. So I'm gonna guess that we're gonna say you should do it at retail space. Oh, that's what I would go with, but let's see. Is it A, based strictly on its current use as a single family residence, regardless of zoning or market trends? I don't like that regardless of market trends. You always look at market trends. B, based on the average of its current use value and its potential future use value. Okay, I already know it's not A. Let's see, we got C, based on original construction cost of the home, adjusted for depreciation. That sounds like the cost approach, so I'm thinking it's not C, but we'll just do a half a no. And based on its most profitable, legally permissible use, likely the potential commercial redevelopment value, not solely its current residential use. Yeah, I'm feeling like it's D2. I'm feeling like it is D2. Now, problematic. I might want to pull up the answer key here and see what the answer is. Ooh, do I have an answer key here? I should. I should have an answer key. Where is it? Boop doop. This is here. Nope. Nope, that's not it either. Nope, that's not it. Let's see if I can find an answer key. That can be not being prepared. Aha, here it is. Boom. Let me get to the answer key. Oh, it is, what number are we? Number 33. We're going with D. I don't know. Because Lord knows I'm not always right. 33 is D. We got that one right. Yeah, okay. Oh, I need to resume my share. Can you all see my screen still? It says you all can't, but I don't know if you can still see my screen. Yes, you still can't see my screen. Okay, people, if anybody's watching on, let's just refresh. If anybody's watching via YouTube, let me know if you still can't see my screen, because it all of a sudden told me on my end I wasn't. But let's see, and let me write something. I'm gonna write a word in on my screen, see if you all can see it. Do you all see the word I just wrote on my screen? No. Okay. Let's see. How about now? No, you don't see it. Yes. Okay, you do. Yep, there we go. All right. So it doesn't. Okay. We'll figure out this darn computer one of these days. Okay, number 34, since we got number, what was that? 33, correct? A homeowner is considering adding a $60,000. What is this swimming pool doing? $60,000 swimming pool to a modest home in a neighborhood where comparable homes with pools sell for only $15,000 more than those without. Oh, you can see me, Tricks. Yay! Good, thank you. According to the appraisal principle of contribution, what should the homeowner expect regarding the pool's impact on market value? So we got a $60,000 swimming pool on a modest home, and comparable homes sell with pools sell for only $15,000 more. And we're looking at the principle of contribution, which tells me it's this idea you can only add so much lipstick to a pig. I mean, unless it's Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy She looked amazing in lipstick. You could never have too much lipstick on that pig, but still, you can only add so much extra to a house. We're always going to say, yeah, you added that pool for $60,000, but it doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily get $60,000 of additional value out of it. Not when other homes are selling for 15. So we want to find the answer that matches that. A, the pool will add far less value to the home than its cost to install, since value is based on market contribution, not construction cost. I like that one. I like that. B, the pool will add exactly $60,000 in value, since improvements are valued at their full cost. We wish, but that's not how any of this works. C, the pool will decrease the home's value, overall market value, since it exceeds neighborhood norms. Won't decrease. That's what makes this wrong. And D, the pool's value contribution cannot be estimated using any recognized appraisal principle. Okay, yeah. Appraisers would be out of a job, meaning our answer most definitely is A, and it meets our definition of the principle of contribution. Remember, those principles are going to be asked. They are most definitely going to be asked on the test. And if anybody is watching via TikTok, I left my phone upstairs, 3 floors away. So if you are asking me questions, I'm so sorry. You might have to join me on YouTube so I can see them. But I left my phone all the way upstairs and I can't see anything that's coming in towards TikTok. So feel free to join us on my YouTube page if you want to get some questions answered. I'm so sorry. All right, number 35. Does it lose $45,000 in equity? You're not losing. That's a great question. Trix asked, does it lose $45,000 in equity? In order to lose equity, you had to have equity. So let's say the house itself, is worth 300, let's say it was modest, but whatever. Let's say the house was worth $300,000, right? And then you added in a pool that costs we said 45K? No, 60K. You don't get that 60K. Even though you added the 300 and the 60,000, nobody wants to pay $60,000 for the pool once it ends. So you're only ever going to get 15,000. So your equity, your max equity at the time was 315,000. That's it. You don't lose equity. You just basically wasted $30,000 and put it down the drain. I mean, now, not to say you won't enjoy a pool, but you don't automatically get that. Hey, Julia. I think I said that right. Julia, yeah. But you don't get that 315. You don't get that extra 30,000 automatically, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Hopefully so, Trix. Hopefully so. All right, 35. A 1960s home only has one bathroom and a galley kitchen that cannot be easily expanded due to low-bearing walls, both of which are undesirable to today's buyers compared to newer homes in the area. What type of depreciation does this represent? Well, first, you already know. One bathroom, nobody is, unless you're living by yourself. I do live by myself and I don't want one bathroom. I don't want to share my bathroom. I at least have 1.5 bathrooms, right? I got you thinking, Tricks. Good. So that's going to be some depreciation. And does everybody know what a galley kitchen is? And I say that not because you need to really know to answer this question, but you are in real estate. And I need you to know what these words are because you will, if you plan on going in residential real estate or even commercial kitchen, real estate, commercial kitchens or commercial real estate, you should know what a galley kitchen is. So I'm going to explain it because I know somebody out there doesn't know. Now I'm going to do a floor plan as if we were looking up. Like we're looking, down. So, I'm trying to say we're looking down on the floor plan. And it's one of those kitchens where it's a galley. It comes from like ships. Right? So this is where you walk. And then maybe right here you'll have the stove, and maybe this would be the fridge over here, and then maybe you'll have the sink right here, and maybe you'll have the dishwasher. I mean, this is not a good layout. The dishwasher should probably be near the sink and the stove should be on the other side. But either way, in a galley kitchen, all you get is the walk-through space right here. Those are galley kitchens. And people will buy homes with galley kitchens, but as somebody with a galley kitchen right now, boo, big boo. And no likey. And no likey the galley kitchen. If it's the only kitchen you got, fine. It just seems very narrow compared to an open floor plan where you might have, here's the island, and then you usually would have the fridge here, and then maybe you'd have the kitchen sink here. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And maybe the dishwasher is right here. This is more open. This is galley. So even if you don't learn anything about real estate questions, you understand now the difference between a galley kitchen and an open plan. So, and it's true, these are usually load-bearing walls, meaning we can't just tear down one of those walls. And that's undesirable to today's buyer. So what type of depreciation is this? Is it economic or external depreciation? Stop that. Just economic or external. You know what I'm trying to say for A. B, curable physical depreciation. C, physical deterioration since the layout has worn out over time. Or D, functional obsolescence, a loss in value due to outdated design features within the property itself. Well, we know external or economic obsolescence comes from outside the property's boundaries. So thank you, AI, for letting us know that is not the answer, because it's the kitchen, and last time I checked, the kitchen is inside. Unless you had an outdoor kitchen, but I think if it was a galley outdoor kitchen, we can forgive it because you're outside. B, curable physical depreciation. And no, physical depreciation means it's broken down. And this isn't broken down, it's just bad style. I won't say bad, it's just different and not a lot of people want it. Some people might like it though, I don't know. Physical deterioration, well, no, it's not physical deterioration, no. And really this word should have been deterioration as well. Since layout has worn out, no. Answer is D, functional obsolescence, a loss in value due to outdated design features within the property itself. And my guess is that because these walls are load-bearing, it would be uncurable. And remember, the difference between uncurable versus curable is it going to cost way more to fix the problem, to fix this, than it would be just to leave it alone? Now, if you just want to remodel a kitchen because it's outdated, that's curable. But if you've got two load-bearing walls, you may not want to spend the money to try to remove the weight from that one wall like that. I would leave that one to an appraiser, whether I call it curable or incurable. I really said uncurable, didn't I? Y'all just let me do it too. Not uncurable, but incurable. There we go. 36. An appraiser is valuing a subject property with no garage and no fireplace. A comparable property sold recently for $362,000 has a garage and a fireplace that the subject lacks. The comparable or comparable is otherwise identical to the subject. What is the indicated value of the subject property? So remember, we got the subject. It's a house. And it's got no garage and no fireplace. And then you have the comp. Pretend that's the same size, with a garage and with a fireplace. That's smoke. Sure. Maybe I should never become an artist. So what we're trying to do, and we know this sold for $362,000. If you were the buyer and you were buying a house, and you're buying this house, did you want to pay $362 for the house that didn't have a fireplace and didn't have a garage? Absolutely not. You're like, I'm paying less money because it doesn't have a garage. I'm paying less money because it doesn't have a fireplace. So we want to remember CIA, CBS. If the comp is inferior, you add. If the comp is better, you subtract. Our comp is better, so we're going to subtract. So if the garage is worth $14,000 and the fireplace is worth $14,500, that means the 14 plus the 4,500 is 18,500 less. We want to pay 18,500 less than what somebody paid for originally. So I'm going to do 362 minus the 18,500. I don't do math in my head. Yeah, 362 minus 18,500. That's 343,500. That is our answer A. Now we know we could have eliminated one of these answer choices. It wasn't 380. We won 380, and then this one doesn't even have the 500, so you could probably eliminate that one. And either way, you probably could have guessed your way to the right answer. I mean, you probably could have guessed your way to that right answer. And no worries, Valerie, you said CIB, but I knew what you meant. It's CBS. I knew what you meant. So yes, 36 is A. Yay. Let's try 37. An investor evaluating a small office building generating $96,000 in annual net is evaluating a small office building generating $96,000 in annual net operating income. Miss Stacy is quick on the math. She already has an answer. Or I could be a little slow. Comparable properties in the market are selling at an 8% capitalization rate using the income capitalization approach. What is the indicated value of this property? Now, you know what, Miss Stacy, I'm just going to call you out for a second. I know when you first started coming to these, you would struggle a little bit with math, just a little bit. Or maybe, I don't know, but I'm just so proud of, yes, a lot. Okay, so, and you just whipped out an answer. You did it with no hesitation, and I could not be more proud of you for that. So we know if we're looking for value, the value is going to be the NOI divided by the cap rate. You are very welcome, ma'am. I'm just proud. That's what I want, for you to feel confident about the math you're doing. So our NOI, $96,000 divided by 8%. And I got 1,200,000, answer B, the same answer that Stacy. And you can't see my writing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let's see. You couldn't see my writing. I'm going to share it again. Can you see my writing now? Hopefully you can see my writing now. Okay, yes. And again, if you're on TikTok, you're out of luck today. And if you're on YouTube, let me know if you still can't see. And there we go. And Miss Tricks, I just want to go. Oh, you got the right answer. Yep. I just want to make sure you got the right answer. Very good. Okay, 38. A property has a market value of $280,000 and is assessed at 70% of the market value for tax purposes. If the local tax rate is 32 mils, what is the annual property tax? And we know the minute we see mils, divide something by 1,000. Remember, 1,000, M-I-L-L. Just either the assessed value or the mill rate. You divide something by 1,000. So first, we're going to find the assessed value. It's 70% of market value. If market value is 280,000, I'm going to multiply that by 70%. That is a 7. It's a weird 7, but 7 nonetheless. So 280,000 times 70% is 196,000. Unless it's not, let me know if I mess that up. Then I'm going to take that 196,000. I'm going to divide it by 1,000 because that's the number I like to divide by 1,000. And that's going to give me 196. That's yeah. And then I'm going to multiply it by mils, the number of mils, the mill rate, 32. And I got an answer of 6,272. Is that what you got? 6,272. You all got C. Hey, hello, Miss Caroline. Oh, you like the math practice? Did it help you big time? Awesome. Oh, I still got to go back and do some other math. I'll do that towards the end today. We forgot the math that I skipped over on Sunday, so I can go back at the end of this. But yes, I'm so glad the math helps. I know there's not a ton of math on anybody's test, but it's enough that if you fail all of it, you might just fail the test. And I'm not trying to have y'all fail the test. It's not a thing. I mean, people fail all the time, but I'd rather you get more wrong on the other side, not when there's no math surprises. So if you can get that math right, you got a better chance of passing. All right. So our answer there was C, 39. Ooh, area. A rectangular commercial lot measures 180 feet by 242 feet. Now remember, usually they're going to put the width first. The width first. So we're going to do 180 feet by 242 feet. Pretend like it's to scale. I know it's not. Local zoning requirements minimums lot size of 1 acre for intended use. Does this lot meet the requirement? So I guess we got to figure out how many square feet are in this. We know there are 43,560 square feet in an acre. So if I take 180 times 242, that'll tell me the total square feet. 180 times 242 gives me, ooh, I got 43,560. No, not dollars, not dollars. So it's the same. A, this lot meets exactly the 1 acre minimum with an area of precisely 43,560 square feet. I like it. You're doing your hours for Nevada online. And Mr. Tricky, I think that's Mr. Tricky. I think that's Mr. Ricky, Mr. One Ricky. I don't know what the one is for, Mr. Onricky. I'm messing up not just your name. I mess up everybody's name. But you asked on how you could join. If you go to my YouTube, if you go to @Candace K. Ellis, if you're watching via YouTube, then you're already here. I can't tell if you're there or TikTok. Or if you're on my YouTube already and you want to be live in the Zoom room, email me. Now everybody will tell you, I get crazy busy. So if I don't answer right away within 24 hours, you email me again. But you can email me at CandaceEllis.com, at gmail.com. And I will send you the Zoom link and you can be right in there. Caroline, you are still waiting for the DRE to send you your license? Government. And Trixie said they don't accept your Connecticut hours. Don't feel bad. Remember, I had to retake my whole Michigan pre-license. I was like, you all do realize I teach this, right? I've been teaching this for almost 20 years, but okay, fine. I wouldn't have mind studying for Michigan. So I'm right there with you. And you all would have been. How's the broker hunting coming? I'm waiting. Oh, you're asking Caroline that. Y'all, I'm waiting for the the North Carolina broker who does this every day, and he's great. I called him today, harass him. He just needs to tell me a day he can come in here and answer your questions. And I know those of y'all that have passed that you want to know, how do I find a broker? What should I look for in a broker? What if I want to do this part-time? What are great things? So, what are great things to ask is what I was trying to say before I didn't finish my sentence. All right, 40. And hopefully, Mr. There you go, Mr. Tricky. I'm going to call you Tricky because it looks like a T kind of, or one Ricky, but whichever. You're tricky now. All I can think of is free to walk around the house. That's right. I don't know why that song popped in my head, but that's your new name. All right, a commercial building was constructed for $140,000 and has an estimated useful economic life of 40 years. Using a straight line depreciation with no salvage value, if a building is currently 12 years old, what is its depreciated value? Excluding land. Okay, we're excluding land. So if you don't know you're welcome, sir, and welcome to the madness. We're crazy around here. And by we, I mean I am. And for some reason, y'all like to listen to my crazy. Go figure. Hopefully everybody knows economic life is how old the building is going to be useful to somebody. So we're saying when it's brand new, it's worth $840,000. And after 40 years, it will be worth $0. So if I take 840,000 and I divide it by 40, that tells me my loss per year. So I feel like with the 8 and the 4, I should be able to do this. Is that 12? Is that $12,000? But I don't math in my head. So 840,000 divided by 40. 12. Okay, 21. Oh yeah, I put the 2 and the 1. You see why I don't math? Because I said 12 and I was missing a 0, but I knew there was a 1 and a 2 in there somewhere. You're losing $21,000 per year. I mean, 12 doesn't even sound right, but let me remath that, make sure my calculator, I did that right. 840,000 divided by 40. You're losing $21,000 per year, and you've lost 12 years. So if I take 21K and I multiply it by 12 years, that tells me my total loss. We've lost 252,000. That's my loss. Now it's asking us for the current value. So I'm going to take that number from the 840. I got 588. Is that what you got? That's what I got. Now y'all saw I couldn't math in my head. So there you go. You said I'm not sure what's going to be helpful, Miss Tricks. Which part is going to be helpful, but you're welcome. You're welcome, whatever it is. I think they accept the California and I have to do the states. You all are having a conversation over there. That's okay. All right. We know it's 588. Let me double check that because clearly math is not my jam. Yay, we got it right. It would be so nice if the license was universal. You know, I will say this, Miss Tricks, the state laws are different, but it would be nice if you took if every state had a state portion and a national portion. And once you pass the national portion, you never really had to take the national part again. That seems reasonable, but we know what I say about common sense and logic. It's not a flower that grows in anybody's garden that's part of the government. Or there's some people too that have got just empty, barren gardens of common sense and logic. So there's that. 41. A homeowner in a residential zone wants to build a detached garage 3 feet from the side property line, where zoning requires a 10-foot setback. Well, your feelings are about to be hurt. Strict compliance would be impossible due to the narrow lot shape, an unusual circumstance not shared by neighboring lots. What should the homeowner apply for? So you got this weird narrow lot, and they're supposed to go 10 feet each way, but that's going to be a problem. So if you want to do something different, you need to ask permission to do that. What do we call that? What is this person looking for? Is it A, a conditional use permit, since a garage is not a use normally allowed in a residential zone? Look, you don't know if it's a conditional use permit or not, but this part of the statement is wrong. Garages are normally allowed in a residential zone. It's not the answer, because a conditional use permit usually says for something like commercial. They'll say you can have a commercial retail space, but only something that doesn't have a lot of parking. So it's a thing, but not the thing we're looking for. Hello, Miss Jasmine. B, a non-conforming use designation, since the garage will violate current zoning. Well, that's not our answer, because the non-conforming use is when something was grandfathered in. Something that was that says grandfathered, you just can't tell. So it's not that. A rezoning of the property to a less restrictive zoning classification. No, we're not rezoning just because the whole lot, just because you want something different. In fact, our answer, because we know it's not A, by just default, all the others were wrong, has to be D, and it happens to be the right answer of variance, since the unique lot shape creates a hardship that prevents strict compliance with the setback requirement. There we go. Yep. You think you saw a question just like that on your exam? Hello, Miss Marie. Hello, and I owe you an email. I know I do. A text telling them it's been a crazy whole week, but yes. And it wasn't that exact question, because none of us are trying to go to real estate license jail. So there's that. So D is our answer. 42. Oh, and I'm thinking not this Thursday, but next Thursday in the evening. Next Thursday, I don't know the date, but today is the 5th. So whatever that is, next Thursday, I need some people in the evening to do a recording with me of some questions. So if you're interested in that, email me, but I'm going to need some live bodies. If you would like to do a free recording, people will hear your voice, but they won't see your face. Or I'm going to do some practice questions just like this, because some people want just longer ones. So I'm doing like 50 at a time. I think I'll do 50. So if you're interested, email me. And by evening, I mean evening in the Eastern time zone. So it'll probably be like 6 p.m. EST or 7 p.m. EST, something like that. All right, 42. A city needs, and somebody emailed me and I just saw it in passing today and they're interested, so I wanted to say that. A city needs a strip of homeowner's front yard to widen a public road. A homeowner does not want to sell, sucks to be you, but the city moves forward with taking it anyway after formal proceedings. It's like having a younger sibling. What is the homeowner legally entitled to receive? Hurt feelings. That's what you get. Is it A, nothing, since eminent domain does not require compensating property owners for public benefit? That's not true. Eminent domain means they do have to pay you fair market value. B, only the property's original purchase price, regardless of the current value. Well, they're not taking the whole property. They're just taking part of the front yard. They're not paying you for the whole property. Absolutely not. C, the right to refuse the taking indefinitely. No. Or D, just compensation equal to the fair market value of the property taken. There we go. There we go. I see y'all with the right answer, D's. I see y'all. I see y'all. All right, grab some water. Where to go? I do a lot of talking. 43. A developer wants to divide a large parcel into 40 individual home lots with new streets and utility easements. Before any lots can be legally sold, what must the developer typically file and have approved by local authorities? Now, this will vary the exact how it's going to happen in your city, your state, your town, but this is generally going to be true. Notice it says typically. So if you have this big parcel of land and you want to just put up some houses, can you do that? Or do you need to do something with the zoning board? You know, I'm just saying. So is it A subdivision plat showing lot boundaries, streets, easements recorded in the public records? B, a certificate of occupancy for each future home. Well, we can't even do that till you finish building. So yeah, can't sell even a lot without that. Without what the answer to the question is. C, a deed of trust covering the entire parcel. No, that's the loan stuff. Or D, an appraisal report establishing the value of each lot. What? We ain't got lots yet because we need our subdivision plat approved. It's A. I like to eat apples and apricots. Y'all, random, and probably why I'm in such a good mood. I paid the best joke on my actual long-term bestie from college, and he fell for it. After 30 years, I played the same practical joke over the phone on him, and I thought I was going to die laughing. I have no good common sense. A buyer is purchasing a commercial building constructed in the 1970s. During due diligence, an inspection reveals asbestos-containing insulation around pipes in the basement, which is currently undisturbed and intact. What is the most accurate statement about this finding? So we've got this asbestos in containing insulation around the pipes, but it's disturbed and intact. Is it A, asbestos found in commercial buildings is exempt from any disclosure requirements? I mean, that's not a terrible answer, but the question is it a true answer? Is that a true answer? I don't feel like it is, but let's keep on going. Let's put a maybe there. B, the building cannot legally be sold until all asbestos is completely removed. Well, no, that's not true. People buy buildings with asbestos all the time. C, intact, undisturbed asbestos is generally not an immediate hazard, but its presence should be disclosed and managed if renovation or removal is planned. Oh, I like that one a lot. I like that one, but let's see what D says. The presence of asbestos automatically voids the purchase contract? No. So C is our best answer here, and that is our correct answer. It is C. Now, I want to make sure, Miss Stacy, you said B. Does it make sense that now I won't say what happens in California. I think that's where you are. But you can't, most states will let you sell it since it's intact and undisturbed. It's when it's friable that it's a problem. Oh, you're in South Carolina. That's right. South Carolina, California, they both have C's starting with an A in there. But either way, I don't think in South Carolina there's a law that says you cannot sell the building, but I could be wrong. Just double check with your book to make sure. 45. A seller is under contract to sell a home built in 1965. The buyer's agent forgets to include the federally required lead-based paint disclosure form and the pamphlet with the purchase agreement. They're going to jail. And the sale closes without it. They're not going to jail, by the way. What is the illegal exposure here? I don't like this term legal exposure here because we are not attorneys, but what could possibly be the problem? There is no exposure because lead-based paint disclosure is only required for homes built after 1978. Well, first, I don't like the fact that it's for homes built after 1978. You've got to give the lead-based paint disclosure for homes that are built before 1978. B, the sale is automatically void because the disclosure was omitted. No. C, only the buyer's agent faces liability since the seller relied on the agent to handle disclosures. No. Our answer is D. Both the seller and the agents can face significant financial penalties for failing to comply with the federal lead-based paint disclosure requirement. Absolutely. It may seem like a really small thing, y'all, but that lead-based paint disclosure is really important. Remember, hello, Miss Joyce. You said DHD, JD, BD, HD, HDH. Now, I'm old, and that could be something, or your cat could have walked over your keyboard. In which case, hey, cat. Or you could have a kid that could have done that, or you could have butt dialed me. But either way, I don't think the DHDJ means anything, but hey, that's okay. So D is our answer for 45. 46. A commercial tenant with 3 years left on her lease wants to hand over the entire remaining space and term to a new business. Okay, wants to completely hand over the remaining space and term to a new business, stepping out of the lease relationship completely, though her lease requires landlord's consent for any transfer. Well, okay. What type of transfer is she attempting? And can the landlord unreasonably refuse consent if the lease is silent on the standard approval? Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is way legal. I don't think your exam is going to ask you to make a calling like this. This feels more like an attorney question, but let's talk about it. She is attempting a sublease, so the landlord's consent is not legally required. Well, I will tell you right now, even though this is really picky, in a sublease, you would still have some relationship, so it's not A. B, she is attempting an assignment of the full leasehold. Well, I like the idea of it being an assignment. That'd be correct. And if the lease is silent on the standard, most courts will still require the landlord's refusal to be reasonable. I like that, but let's see what else we got. C, she is attempting an assignment. We like that. And the landlord may refuse consent for any reason, including no reason at all, regardless of what the lease says. That seems kind of broad. And I don't like this regardless of what the lease says, so I'm going to say no. If the lease says you can do it, the landlord can't then change their mind. But it says it was silent, so that's okay. D, she is attempting a novation, which automatically releases her from all lease obligations without landlord. No, novations don't automatically release her from all lease obligations without landlord involvement. No. So our answer by definition is B. But again, I do feel this is more of a legal calling. I don't think you're going to have something like that on there. Now, Stacy, I see you going, oof. A novation is when you replace a contract for a new contract, replace one old contract with a new contract, or the people on a contract for, new people. Now, I will tell you, not being an attorney, if you had said novation versus assignment, novation, assignment, sublease, they are all so close. But because novations don't automatically release her. That's why I knew that wasn't the right answer off the top of my head, but I don't want you to oof yourself like, oh, I got that wrong. This was hard. This was really more of a legal question. I think that really needs to be an attorney to make that call. But AI was trying, and it's a good conversation point. 47. A tenant moves out of a rental unit, leaving it clean and undamaged beyond normal wear and tear. State law requires the landlord to return the security deposit or provide an itemized list of deductions within 30 days. On day 45, the tenant has still not received either. What is the tenant's likely remedy? Now, if you're going into property management, you still want to hire an attorney, but you should understand as that property manager what could be at stake if you don't return these security deposits. So is it A, the landlord automatically forfeits the entire security deposit due to the missed deadline with no further action needed by the tenant? You know, I'm sure in some states that could be the rule, but I don't like that word automatically. Anytime I see that word automatically, my little, sensors go off and go, ooh. I don't hate it, but I don't love it because this word right here is a little bit, maybe it's my best choice if other things fail, but I'm pretty sure that's wrong. B, the tenant can sue the landlord, and many states allow for recovery of the deposit plus statutory penalties for the landlord's failure to comply with the timeline. I mean, that sounded good. That's pretty open. It says, hey, states can differ. You're going to have to sue. I definitely like that beyond A. So maybe B. C, the tenant must wait a full year before any legal action can be taken regarding a security. No, we ain't waiting a full year. No, that's not typically what happens. D, the tenant has no remedy since the landlord's failure to respond is treated as an automatic forfeiture of the tenant's claim. Could you imagine? Oh, you know what, landlord? Just don't do anything about the security deposits and you automatically get to keep all of it. We would never hear from these landlords again. So B is our right answer. Busy, busy bee. I'm bringing home a baby, bumblebee. Won't my mama be so proud of me? 48. A tenant reports a broken furnace to the landlord in the middle of winter. That's not funny. After 2 weeks with no repair and no heat, really not funny. The tenant, following proper legal notice procedures under state law, decides to hire a repair company and deduct the cost from next month's rent. What doctrine allows this action? Okay. Is it A, constructive eviction, which automatically terminates the lease and all future rent obligations? Well, I don't like A because constructive eviction means somebody had to leave. You didn't leave, you hired a repair person. Retaliatory eviction protection, which only prevents landlords from evicting tenants who complains. What? That had nothing to do with our question, so that's not the answer. C, actual eviction, since the tenant was physically prevented from using part of the unit. No, she wasn't. Or 48, D, repair and deduct, a remedy under the implied warranty of habitability when a landlord fails to maintain essential services. Yes, that sounds like my best answer. And remember, some states that is not allowed. Yes, you can do it in some states, but in other states you cannot. Let me grab some water. You can sue the landlord. Exactly. 49. A title company offers a real estate brokerage, free marketing services, and event sponsorship in exchange for the brokerage referring all of its clients exclusively to that title company for closing services. Under RESPA, is this arrangement permissible? I want y'all to use some let me go before I finish that. Miss Valerie, you asked if I could go over this again. Are you talking about 48, Miss Valerie?
Yes, ma'am. If you could just re-explain it again, please.
All of the answers are about just what I said about D.
What you said about D.
Okay. So like this repair and deduct, the tenant said, let me hire somebody and then deduct what I paid from next month's rent. It can happen in some states, but I can tell you in North Carolina, that's illegal.
Right, and mine too. I think that's why I was kind of thrown off by it
Yeah.
too.
So yeah. And then Miss Trix, you said, did I hear about charging tenants $200 extra if they work from home? Say what? Miss Trix, I have not heard about this. If you see an article about that, please send it to me because what? I mean, I guess they're trying to say if you're working from home, you're doing commercial activity. That seems like something I'm gonna have to add to if I decide to rent someplace new here in Michigan while I'm here. Now I'm gonna have to add to what? Okay, see, that ain't even right. All right, let's do 49 because now I'm just mad. Now I'm just mad at people. Miss Tricks, how would you what? Yeah, Carolina hadn't heard of it either. I'm like, you're gonna charge me $200 extra if I work from home. Catch me if you can. I'm like, absolutely not. What if I wanted to do a side gig? What if I had a job and I was like, oh, I have a nighttime job, transcribing stuff for legal or medical stuff, or, you can do customer service. You're going to charge me extra money for making enough money? Yeah, please email me those videos. Oh my gosh, that's some crap. That right there is some crap. That's the only word. That is, and excuse my French for everybody, that's some bullshit. I hate to say it. No, I don't. I swear all the time when I'm not with y'all. So I will say it. That's some BS if I have ever heard it. Sometimes you plant plants in your backyard or your little garden that just happen to not do well with people breathing. Sheesh. Okay. A title company offers a real estate brokerage free marketing services and event sponsorships in exchange for the brokerage referring all of its clients exclusively to that title company for closing services. I'm not even going to play with y'all. That is so illegal. Even though the title company is not paying that company any money, they are giving them consideration. And that is highly illegal. We know this. You cannot do this. Right? So we know the answer is you can't do it. Boom. Now we got a 50-50 chance of guessing this bad boy right. Is the answer no, but only if the brokerage is a franchise rather than an independent company? No, they don't care. That's illegal. Or this is the right answer. No, because RESPA prohibits paying or receiving anything of value in exchange for the referral of settlement business service businesses. Yes, business. The only reason we can give referral fees to other agents is because they gave us an exception to the law. That is the only reason. Otherwise, we could not legally say, oh, I have this client. You want to, help them and give me some of your money, like referral fee. Only reason is because we have an exception. Otherwise, that would be highly illegal against RESPA. Please, and don't let these companies get you in trouble because nobody looks good in federal prison orange. Of course, you also know I'm going to follow this up with X-Ace, except for Jason Momoa. He looks really good in federal prison orange. And out of it too, I'm supposing. Ooh, and the guy that plays Jack Reacher, he too would look good in federal prison orange, or better without it. You pick one. And if you're a guy or a woman who likes women, you pick somebody else. But I like men, so I'm going with those images. You go with whoever you would like to be in orange or out of orange. No judgment. 50. I just had to have a moment for Jack Reacher because, whew. An agent tells a buyer that a home's roof was replaced within the last 2 years, based solely on what the seller told her, without independently verifying the claim. It turns out the roof is actually 12 years old and in poor condition. Is the agent potentially liable to the buyer? I can't even think straight. Give me a second. I cannot wait for the next season of Jack Reacher. Reacher, it's just, oh my God. His first name is Jack, right? I don't even know. It's just Reacher. Oh, nice. Let me read that again. So an agent tells a buyer that the home's roof was replaced within the last 2 years, okay? And based on what the seller told her, and they didn't verify the claim. Focus, Candace. It turns out it's actually 12 years old. I guess we forgot that one. And in poor condition. Is the agent potentially liable to the buyer? I think you know the answer is yes. Now the question is why? Yes, but only if the agent intentionally knew the statement was false, or yes, the agent can be held liable for negligent misrepresentation for passing along unverified information as fact without a reasonable bias. Yes, this is the answer. Just if you go into residential real estate, remember part of your job is to be nosy. So if somebody tells you something, look into it before you just telling people it's the truth. It's like gossip. You shouldn't be spreading it even if it is true, but at least verify to make sure it's true before you start telling people stuff. It's bananas. BANANAS. Yes. I'm assuming that's why you put a banana up there, Miss Valerie, for not for other reasons, since I was thinking about Mr. Reacher. Okay. Just saying. All right, 51. A legal description begins. Beginning at an ironed pin at the intersection of Oak Street and Main Street, thence north 45 degrees, and eventually returns to the point of beginning. Oh, we know what that term goes with. What type of legal description is this, and what is essential about how it must be written? I like these two-part questions. Is it the government's rectangular survey description? No, because we know that relies on township and range lines. So that's not what we're talking about here. Is it B, a monument description, which requires no closure back to the starting point? No, we did return to the point of beginning. C, a lot and block description, which references a recorded subdivision plat instead of directional courses. I mean, great definition of what a lot and block is, but not what we're talking about. Our answer is D, meets and bounds description. There you go. Although you do have monuments in a meets and bounds, so just don't get caught with that wording. Monuments are found in a meets and bounds description, but that's not what this is because we returned back to the point of beginning. 52. A seller receives an offer at full asking price, but responds with a signed acceptance that changes the closing date by 2 weeks. The buyer has not yet responded to this revised document. Is there currently a binding contract? Yes, because the seller's signature on the acceptance created a binding contract regardless of any changes made. Yes, because minor terms like closing dates do not affect whether a valid acceptance has occurred. Really? The closing date is minor? I think it's not. C, no, because the original offer automatically remains open and enforceable despite the seller's changes. Or D, because changing any term, even the closing date, makes the seller's response a counteroffer rather than an acceptance, and no contract exists until the buyer accepts the counteroffer. We like that answer. We're going to finish 53 and then I'm scroll back and do the math I missed from Sunday and then I'll stop for the night. So there you go. Yes, Miss Trix, it is a good vocab word, a very good vocab word. She's talking about meets and bounds. 53. A buyer and a seller sign a contract for the vacant lot at 145 Birch Lane, both genuinely believing that the address refers to a 2-acre parcel. After signing, they discover the address actually corresponds to a different, much smaller 0.3 acre lot. Okay. Not 2 acres, but 0.3 acres. Not the 0.3 acre difference, but a lot and more than 3/4, almost 3/4 of a lot difference. Or an acre, you know what I'm trying to say. Your acre and 3/4 difference. Due to a county records error, and neither party intends to buy or sell that smaller lot. What contract defense is most applicable? Undue influence, since one party pressured another into agreeing to the terms. That's not what happened. Unconscious, you know what? The word's not coming out. Say it in your head. Since the terms of the final deal were grossly unfair to one side. Unconscious, not coming out. C, mutual mistake, since both parties shared the same fundamental understanding about the identity of a property being transacted. I like that. Or D, fraud, since one party must have known about the discrepancy. No, they didn't know it. These are one of these constipated words. And when I say constipated, I don't mean poo. I mean, some words just don't come out of your mouth when you want them to. That would be it. Constipation word. All right, let me scroll and make y'all sick for a second, but I'm going to go back to the math we missed on Sunday. I mean, it just gave us a lot of math to do all at once, and I didn't feel like it. Quite honestly, I didn't feel like it. But I'm in such a good mood from harassing my bestie He's so funny. That one of my besties, no offense, Val, one of my besties, I've known since college. I'm gonna do this math because it was great. And I literally almost peed my pants laughing so hard. Like I coughed, like couldn't catch my breath coughing. Also, if something happens to me, it was him getting me back. Revenge is coming. I just opened up a can of worms and I'm gonna get it. A home sale closes on September 10th, with the buyer taking ownership on the day of closing. Okay, the buyer gets the day of closing. Annual property taxes of $43.80 have not yet been paid for the year, which means they're probably going to be paid by the buyer the whole year later. Using a 365-day calendar, how much of the tax bill should be credited to the buyer at closing to cover the seller's portion of ownership? So we need to give money to the buyer from the seller, because when the buyer goes to pay this tax bill, they shouldn't have to pay it for the time they didn't own the house. Okay, so we got ourselves a timeline. We got January 1, we got 12/31. Now we know the seller sold the house right about from here. So the buyer, this is the buyer. This is the seller's time. And we know that date is September 10th. So we need to get the money from here to there. We need to figure out how much money this is. And we need to give that money to the buyer. So we know we got January, February, March, April, May, June. Okay, I probably shouldn't use all that space. June, July, August, and then September. It's 365 days. So we got to do actual months and days in each month. 31, 28, 31, 30, 31, 30, 31, 31. And then the seller is going to take, if the buyer is getting the day of closing, they're responsible for 9 days in September. The 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. The 10th is going to the buyer. Now, I'm figuring out how much the seller owes. Some of y'all are smart and go, well, Candace, what if you did what the buyer did from September 10th, and then you had October, and then you have November, and then you had December? Yes, that would work too. I could figure out how much of the bill belonged to the buyer and then subtract it out, but I'm showing y'all the math on this, so I'm going to do the long way. So we got to add up the 31, the 28, the 31, the 30, the 31, the 30, the 31, the 31, and the 9. I'm going to just go ahead and cheat and look up the answer choice because that sounds like a lot of calculator work. I don't want to do that. So this is number 18. And of course, they did it the other way. So let's just add it up. Stupid answer key. 31 plus 28 plus 31 plus 30 plus 31 plus 30 plus 31 plus 31 plus 9. I got 252 days. Is that what y'all got? I got 252 days. Okay. Now we're going to take this 4,380 divided by 365. And that gives me $11.90 a day. I'm going to multiply that by 252 days. I mean, I didn't get any of those answers.
Candace, wouldn't you round it up 1190 to 12?
You know, did it say to round it? I don't normally round for something like that.
Mhm.
Does anybody have a state? Uh, I lost Miss Caroline. Good night, Miss Caroline. I wouldn't have rounded up. Did I do? It is 252 days. 1190 times 250. Let me try that again. I got 299, 29, 98, 80. Okay, let's write that down. All right, well, let's try rounding. If I rounded it to 12, I mean, I guess some states might do that, but if I do $12 a day times 252, I got 3,024, which is an answer. I mean, that's what I got. Let's see. Um, I got nothing. Now, Miss Valerie, in your state, do they tell you to round up for taxes for some reason, or you just took a wild guess?
I really kind of took a wild guess because I did the 1190 and I got the 2998.
Okay.
But then I saw that was 11 point, $11.90. So when I multiplied it times 12, I got the third 3,024.
Okay. Yep. No. Okay. Well, let's look at this. You have that's too low. That's too high. This should be the right answer, but it's not an option. So we'd be between 3,024 and you know what? There's a $12 difference here.
Right.
And I bet that would be if we did 253 days. That's a 5.
Which they,
And
yeah.
that would have been the wrong day. So I think we have to go with this. But honestly, I've never taken another test where they asked you to round your $11 of 1190 to 12. But who knows? Who the
Yeah.
heck knows? You rounded by 12, Miss Tricks. So Miss Tricks, is that something they taught you to do in your state? If so, let me know. That's a good thing to know since I help lots of people in different states. If your state tells you to round it if there's change for taxes. You rounded it because it gave you the answer B. Okay. Well, then I'm going to go ahead and say, everybody, remember this is AI, and sometimes AI can suck, so we're just going to tell AI to suck it. And it's telling me the right answer for 18 is B. And it did round. AI can suck it today. That's okay. And let me erase part of this. Let's move on to 19 and call it a day. I didn't like that AI. Do better. Do better, AI. I mean, don't take me down when the AI takes over the world. AI, you're the best. Okay. A buyer is purchasing a home for $410,000 and plans to make a 15% down payment. So 410 is the purchase price. And there's a 15% down payment. The lender charges 1.5 discount points. And amount to lock in the bonds interest rate. How much will the buyer pay for discount points at closing? Now, sometimes when I'm doing math, if there's lots of numbers, I will write them off to the side just so I don't get lost over here in all the words and numbers. So I guess if we know discount points, we know what they cost and they know what they do, and they cost 1% of the loan amount, and they move a loan 1/8%. But we know one discount point costs you 1% of the loan amount. So 1.5 discount points equals 1.5% of the loan. Well, if you're buying the house for 410 and you're putting down 15%, that means your loan is for 85. So I literally said 100 minus 15, that gives me 85%. I'm going to take that 410, multiply it by 85% to get the amount of the loan. And that's going to be 348,500. And then I can take that and multiply it by 1.5%. And that gave me 5,227 and 50 cents. 5,227 and 50 cents. This would be if you got your percentages wrong, and I don't know where they got the other answers from. But yes, our right answer is B. Boom shakalaka. So interesting. We had a weird question right here. Oh, and I promised you all the other day, we came across the word permissive waste. And I looked it up, and it's the waste that is not allowed if you have a renter or a life tenant. So when you can't waste a property, it says tenant, you can't waste a property, you can't damage, but that damage that you do is called permissive waste. Where they got permissive from, I don't know. Remember, I'd never seen this word before, and I was like, oh, let me look into it. It's stupid, but there we go. It is an actual thing, so what do I know? All right, guys, this was great. I will see you on Sunday. Again, I'm going to actually check email for the first time today. That tells you how I've been running around 8:15. If you're interested in being part of my live next Thursday, let me know. Shoot me an email. Hopefully this is helping. And if you have questions, then guys, email me. You can talk during these things. You know, I love the questions. You know, I love you all. I know I love me some Jack Reacher. So there's that. And if we're gonna just start adding men in, what if it was like Jack Reacher and it was Jason Momoa and Superman? That's just like, ooh, right? So again, if you like women, you come up with your own dinner party. But for me and mine, that's gonna be for me. That's mine. So I'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody. Good night.
Good night, Candace.
Good night, ma'am. I'll talk to you soon.